He just says, "Why?"
He
Out
did
of
attack
curiosity, what are the Duergar guards doing at the moment?
Waiting to see what happens. As I said before, they don't have any sort of leadership right now. They've got no one telling them what to do, so they're just sort of waiting around until there's either something to kill or someone comes and tells them what to do.
I guess I'll try and speak to the giant.
Alright, so you step over to him, and what do you say?
I'm sorry for your loss.
He says, "Thanks, but you killed him."
Actually,
Well,
it was the Duergar.
He was trying to kill all of us. It was in defense.
He nods and he says, "No, I understand. Things haven't been the same. This is just another event in this sad tragedy."
What other events are taking place in this tragedy of yours?
He says, "Well, he was the last living member of my family."
I'm sorry to hear that. Was there any reason that he was filled with bloodlust?
And killing people?
He says, "Well, I don't really understand it, but I was his apprentice. See, this was my brother who was well trained in communing with the stone," he says. "And things in the Underdark have been getting," he searches for the word, "fucked up recently."
I can certainly agree with that.
He sort of looks at the second head on this other giant as well, and he's like, "This head sprouted not 2 days ago, and he's been crazy ever since."
Did he interact
So he didn't
with
have two
anything
heads.
strange before this other head erupted?
He says, "No. I mean, no more than usual. He does talk with the stones, has done for years. But now," and he sort of hangs his head and he's like, "No more."
Can you talk with the stones, my friend?
Says, "Well, I am but an apprentice."
Do you think the stones would be able to give you any sort of information, any clue as to why this has happened?
He shakes his head. "No, I'm not sure. But perhaps you might accompany me to Cairngorm Cavern."
Where's that?
He points to the main area of Gracklestug and says, "On the other side. Over there."
Well, I thought only Duergar were allowed there.
He nods and says, "Only those allowed go there. I will make sure we are all permitted."
How about
Okay, so the stone giants are allowed.
how about we strike a deal here?
He looks at you
Oh.
confused, like, "What? What?"
I'll help you with your quest and help find out what happened to your brother and all of that. In return, I'd like your help to get to the surface.
He laughs a single loud laugh. "Ha! Surface? And be killed by your type?" And he sort of waves his hand at all you surface dwellers.
Whoa.
I think
I don't mean
not.
you travel to the surface with us. Just help us get to the surface. From there, we can part ways. All squaresies and evens.
He shakes his
Even
head and
Stevens.
says, "The furthest I can take you is Cairngorm Cavern.
Is that on the way to the surface? Is it?
I
It's
think
the
it's
other
place
side
where
of the
we're going
city."
anyway.
It's the place that he just said, "Perhaps you could come with me."
I whisper in your ear. I don't think he knows a way up.
Oh, I didn't realize how close Cairngorm Cavern was. I thought it was going to be some big epic journey.
No, it's
Oh,
literally on the other side of the city.
Ah, sure, we'll accompany you right now, mate.
I
Oh,
should
wait,
have
wait.
joined them by now. Could I ask why? Is there a reason you want us to accompany you?
He just shakes his head and says, "You were asking about what's happening. What's happening? I figured you had a vested interest. Forgive me if I am mistaken."
I'll take it.
That's fair enough.
And he picks up, "So you'll accompany me?
Yeah.
Fantastic."
I
And he
don't-
claps
I
his
think
big
so.
hands together and your ears ring for a moment or two. And he stands up and with one big swoop he scoops the two-headed giant onto his shoulder and starts traipsing off. And the Duergar guards, the stone guards, go to stop him as he makes his way towards the main area of Gracklestug. But he bellows out, "I am a stone speaker. You will not stop me." And whatever that means to the city, they stand dutifully aside and allow him through, and sort of stare expectantly at the group of you as he walks past them.
I just follow.
I'm with him. And I
all
continue
follow.
past them. Or attempt to, anyway.
So let me just give you the map.
Can I?
Yep. But
I was just going to see if Jim Jar's around. I just want to see if he's going to be following along with us or not. Want to lose him?
Jim Jar's always going to be tagging along, unless specifically not. He'll just be there. He's your last
Okay.
survivor, isn't he? Or last with the party, I should say.
Yeah.
So which
And
one are
he's
we going to?
Cairngorm.
Cairngorm Kevin.
Oh, Cairngorm Kevin.
Cairngorm Kevin, mate. So the way you've just come,
Sounds sweet.
so you've just basically been in this area. You've originally come into the Dark Lake District from that way, I believe. Oh no, sorry, wrong side. That way. Someone's mic is open. Someone's hot micing. So you've come in there. The giants come storming through that wall that the southbound arrow is piercing. And now you're all making your way through, beginning to cross what is labelled as Laudiger's Furrow.
So is it like Duergar on this side? Or... is that right?
So the Dark Lake District is sort of that whole area. Oh shit, I don't need a squares. Herp-derp.
Oh, okay, and the Dark Lake District is the public district.
Yep.
Cute.
That area there. And you're now heading over to the main city beyond those walls. Not all of this side is the free area. That wall line there separates the Dark Lake District and the rest of the city. So you're pretty much straight into the main area from there.
Ooh.
Wish there was a way to ping so I could point out specific areas to ask questions about them.
Yeah.
You can just draw an arrow.
There's
What?
Just draw an arrow.
Oh,
right click and you'll see a thing called pointers, and then you can draw arrows or
Like a
or
circle.
rings
You could
or
be
all
like,
sorts of stuff.
ching, there.
Use the force, Luke.
Okay. So I'm just gonna assume that entire Dark Lake is. Do you see that?
Yep. The purple.
Did you see it move?
Yep.
Yep. You don't see it move, you just see it disappear and then appear somewhere else. Or at least I do.
You can also freehand, although I don't think the other players can see that, only the DM.
Yeah.
I used to draw penises thinking everyone else could see it, but no, just Dan gets pissed off.
I didn't mind. There you go. I've used pointers to box off the Dark Lake District. But yes, you basically have the gist of it with that. What you've done in
How
that
do I
circle.
delete my pointers?
Just right click. It's gone. All done for you. Wicked Jester, you're gone, so I'm not going to answer your question. Go fuck yourself. So yep, so you guys walk through that wall.
That's the entire Dark Lake, right?
Sorry.
Question: is the Shattered Spire an inn?
I don't know. No.
We don't know.
Good point. We don't know about this map. We just know this is a map.
Nothing. So, looking over to
Oh,
that
we got
area as you
compass.
leave the Dark Lake District with your inquisitive mind, you see what looks like a giant stalagmite jutting out from the Dark Lake about 40 feet away from the shore. And upon this stalagmite, you see a building that's built among fungi stalks, giant, huge fungus stalks. But other than that, there's no immediate clue as to what it may be.
We can explore later. Let's just go with the stone giant.
Yep, so he's already making a way through, and you all follow, I assume. Milo, are you back with the group and following at this point, or are you sticking around in the Dark Lake District?
Want to head back with everybody else? Yeah.
Alright. So, as you guys go through, this middle area, the one labelled Ladigua's Furrow.
It appears to be a gigantic cavern.
Yeah, so it looks like the ground has been torn apart by maybe an earthquake, like pretty far underground. Obviously, this whole area is, and this has pretty much been abandoned all along there. You can see what looks like small houses and whatnot carved into the walls where people might have stayed or creatures might have made a home. But as you walk across the bridge, it looks pretty empty. Pretty
I'm guessing
uninhabited.
the fissure is pretty deep.
Yes. Let me see. It's about 200 feet from top to bottom. And it's around about 500 feet wide.
Yeah, that's pretty big.
Yep. It's quite large. Occasionally, up and down the path, you see little vents where what appears to be lava or some other glowing liquid flows near to the surface and then cuts away again. So there's no lava flow down this rip, but it's obviously near to a bubble of lava, and it goes some way to explaining the lava you saw from the outside of the city. Alright. So
I must say, Gracklestug's a rather cool little city.
it is a very cool little city. If you like lava and rocks, it's the best. Alright, so let me just see where you're heading. King or Kevin. So anyway, the giant pushes along and you guys find yourself in the main bottom or the southern half of Gracklestug. Many of the Duergar that live here are giving you sideways glances.
Mad evils.
Mad evils. They're very not used to having non-Duergar. Some of them are accustomed to seeing the giants, especially the closer you get to Cairngorm Cavern. So they would be giving them weird looks in other parts of the city. It's all just focused on you guys now as you're passing through. A couple of people you walk past are pretty vocal with their disapproval. Some of them even spit and swear and undercommon. Pick up little bits and pieces here. Most of it's to do with your mothers and various other highly insulting words.
I'll just keep playing Barney to try and appease them.
Keep playing Barney. Good call. So
You
you get
give him a big smile and say, "We're with the Rock Talker."
most of them don't understand you. There's the occasional few that do understand Common. Most of the Common speakers are in the northern part with the Dark Lake district where the markets are. There's not much purpose for having non-undercommon speakers down here, or any need for speaking anything else down here. But eventually you reach what you gather to be the Cairngorm Cavern. It's a long tunnel cutting away into the cliff. You can see several hundred feet into the side of this stone wall. And as our old mate, the big giant, with the other big giant on his back, reaches there, he just slams down the body of the two-headed giant and mutters a couple of words, and you catch a proper burial soon. And then he's off and away down the cavern, leaving the body just at the entrance. Now, do you guys follow him? Do you wait? What do you do?
I'll follow.
What?
Yep.
Same.
Alright, so as you guys step in, he gets pretty much to the end of the tunnel and then hazards a look over his shoulders and sees you all about 50 feet in. And he comes quickly back and stops you and says, Wait, I must ensure you are welcome. Otherwise, and he looks to the right where you see what appears to be a red blood smear and a crushed skeleton. And he says, It's not the best if you're here unwelcomed. And asks you to wait just near the entrance.
True, I doubt we could handle more than one stone giant at a time anyway.
Probably not. First one, you guys had guards. But, I don't know, it's up to you. So do you wait?
Yep, we wait.
Alrighty.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm not gonna get smashed.
Don't want to get Hulk smashed. Now, as you guys are waiting there, you're there for a good 10-15 minutes before he comes back and collects you. But in that time, roll me a perception. Everyone in the tower. Pargon.
I did.
Did you? Oh, you were first. I'm sorry. Okay, so Milo, Tom, and Clinville. You guys spend the time waiting, noticing that further up the path, or sort of further up this cavern tunnel, carved into each side is a number of, I wouldn't say small, largish holes. There's a little bit of light coming from one of them, but the others are all remain dark. The rest of you don't really notice much. You're just busy kicking stones or doing whatever. But so you guys see those going off to the side. One of them's quite heavily hidden in shadow, but Milo and Tom, you both see it and I suppose acknowledge with each other that you both know it's there.
So point it out to the rest of the group.
Sure.
Sure.
I do it. It's done.
Alright. So, the giant that you were talking to earlier, that led you to this cavern, comes back. And he says, "Now, I haven't introduced myself. I apologize for my manners from... It is not the best of days." He says, "I am Dorhan. That there," and he points to the dead two-headed giant, he says, "was Rehud." And he types those names into chat so you can remember them.
Okay, I say to Doran, my name is Clenville. That is Tom, Milo, Theron, and Dagran.
Sorry, 1 second. Alright, I'm back. Okay, sorry, what did you say before then? I was assaulted by children.
I said, well, my name is Clenville, and this is, and gesturing, Tom, Milo, Theron, and Dagran.
Pleasure to meet all of you. He says, the stone speaker H-Gram would like to see you. And that's how you must say his name.
H-Gram.
H-Gram!
Instagram.
H-Gram!
I think it'd
What?
be Hegram, but I guess H-Gram will work fine.
H-Gram will work fantastically.
Is the H silent? Is it just supposed to be Graham?
No. Did he say Gram or did he say H-Gram?
Maybe he's had it wrong all these years.
Nope. H-Gram and a shitter shittles. You'll do as you're told.
Okay. Alrighty.
Here.
Let's go see the stone speaker.
Indeed.
H Graham.
There you go. That's how he spells his name. Is that better?
H Graham.
You're getting it. You're getting there.
Yeah, I'm struggling to pick up that Kiwi accent.
Alright, so he ushers you down the... Hates Graham. Oh, poor Graham. He ushers you down the
That's my
tunnel.
stepdad.
My middle name is Graham.
You're saying Graham, but it's Graham. H. Graham. We're spending way too long on this guy's name.
No, but he said he hates Graham.
He hates Graham. He does.
And my middle name is Graham, so that's insulting to me.
Does anyone
My
refer to
stepdad's
you as
name is
Graham,
Graham.
though?
No, no one does.
Then it's not insulting to you.
But it's insulting to my cousins because I'm named after their middle name.
Dan, you're triggering the poor man.
I'm sorry. Alright, so the giant ushers you all down the stone tunnel, and Dorhan, the giant, God, my voice is not working today, introduces you to H. Graham, and sort of tells you that this is the current leader of the Stone Speakers. And H. Graham nods in welcome to all of you, and I assume you all repeat who you are. Dorhan does not.
Sure.
He just introduces H. Graham.
I have no issue with that.
Yep.
Alrighty.
So, yeah, I guess we'll introduce ourselves.
He says, Dorhan here tells me you're all interested in the stone speaking.
Yes?
I
Sure.
guess it sounds somewhat interesting. Something that could be cool to know about.
If you're putting on a show, I'd love to watch.
He was momentarily excited, but as you say, yeah, are you going to be performing such a ritual? He goes grim-faced and he says, I wish that it were possible at this point, but no, something evil stirs in the Underdark. It is not safe. The rock itself cries in pain and horror, and the madness creeps from the blackest depths. And Dorhan lets out a cry of "No!" As he continues, he says, "If you go forward, pay heed to the signs surrounding you and yourself." And then, without waiting for any reply, he says, "A cave with 2 faces! Rock devoured!" And his face starts going red and his eyes start glowing red. He says, "The land overgrown! The pebble believes itself flesh! The earth rejects its wards and tunnels shake in fury!" And he slams his fist on the ground and the whole room shakes. He says, "By these portents you shall know evil's presence and evil's face." And then he sits back down in the chair. He goes, "At least this is what the stones tell me."
Alright, well.
I'm just
Does
gonna be
Evil's
like,
face
yeah,
happen
man.
to resemble a 2-headed monkey lizard?
Well, he doesn't know it. You're the one who knows the face. If that's what evil's face is to you, who is he to argue?
I'm just gonna be like, yeah, man. I like to smoke me some weed as well.
And after his little
What have we
outburst
done?
and
It's
yarn,
full of rock.
H-Gram sort of waves you out of the room, and Dorhan comes over and he says, it must be time to leave now. It's time to leave."
Well, nice meeting you, H-Gram.
And as
Good
you
day,
all
Stone Speaker.
turn to leave, he doesn't say anything until you just get to sort of what would be the door, if there was a door on the tunnel. And he yells out, he says, "Wait! Wait! Dorhan!" And he waves Dorhan over back to him. And he says, "Take this to them," and places it something in his hand. And Dorhan nods and then ushers you all out the tunnel. And as you all get to the end of the tunnel, Dorhan thanks you and professes, "That was such an honor. You are all something special. Here, he wanted you to have this." And he passes you a polished crystal, and it's about the length of a forearm. And he says, "This is a token of gratitude from H-Gram."
What should we do with it?
He shrugs. "I don't know."
I'll chuck it in my bag.
Thank you for your hospitality.
He nods and says, "Thank you for killing my brother."
Our pleasure. Hey, Doran,
Yes.
we noticed that there are some holes in the wall back in that cavern. One of them was lit. Is that significant? Does that mean anything?
He says, "Well, you could come and have a look if you liked."
We're not getting in trouble if we're going in there, are we?
He sort of looks sneakishly around and says, "Only if someone sees you." And sort of does a little nervous laugh.
We're dead.
Let's not go in there right now.
So who's going?
Well, I'm pretty small. I could hide behind him and...
He's a
Like,
giant,
his leg
so I
would be
mean
okay.
everyone's pretty small compared to him.
So, on the crystal we got, it's probably very valuable because it's huge. But I don't think we should sell it because we just got it from some mysterious sort of seer guy.
I'm gonna cast detect magic on the crystal.
Alrighty. And you detect that it is, in fact, magic. And the school... does you want to give the school? Does that spell give the school, or is
sense
that...
presence of magic within sense magic that you can use your action to see a faint aura around any visible creature. And you learn at School of Magic, if any.
Divination.
Ooh.
Do you think this is like a mobile phone?
You'd think. So
That's
that's the
exactly what
crystal
it
as well,
is.
by the way.
Okay, that looks pretty sweet.
It is a very sweet shard of quartz.
It almost
So
looks like a
that's-
sword that we could smack someone with.
Yeah, quartz is pretty brittle, so
It would probably
I
shatter.
wouldn't do it, but it looks cool. It looks like you could do it with it.
So, Tom, did you take that Chuck it in your bag. It's in the
Yeah,
party
yeah.
sheet.
Okay then.
Okay, we should probably try find a place to like have a short rest so we can identify the thing.
Yeah, I'm out of spell slots and I have Identify. Could I cast Identify as a level 2 spell?
Yes. No.
Uh,
Oh, no, you can. Yep, it uses that slot. You just gain no benefit.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yep.
Done. I'll identify that.
Alrighty. So you cast Identify, and you
I do.
identify it as... Oh, it's in your inventory. I need to find it. Hang on.
So,
That's right. There you go. It is a stone speaker crystal. It is a wondrous item. It has 10 charges. While holding it, you can use an action to expend some of the charges to cast from the following spells. Speak with animals for 2 charges, speak with dead for 4 charges, or speak with plants for 3 charges. Alternatively, when you cast a divination spell, you can use the crystal in place of one material component that would normally be consumed by the spell at a cost of 1 charge per spell level. Crystal is not consumed when used in this way.
Does it restore charges?
Yep, it
or
regains
something?
1d6 plus 4 daily at dawn. If you expend the crystal's last charge, roll a d20, and on a 1, the crystal vanishes, lost forever.
Let's not
Wow,
expend
that's
all the
intense.
charges.
It's
Can
This
anyone
seems
use
like
it,
it'd be
or do you have
very
to be like a
useful.
wizardy type?
Nope, anyone can use it. While holding it, you can use an action to expend some of its charges. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, this thing seems it'll be very useful.
It is handy.
I feel like I should give it to someone that will remember to use it.
Okay, I'll hold on to it then. I think I can remember to use it. Whenever we encounter a plant, an animal, or a dead body, we can always find out what they were thinking.
Vehicle.
Well, or a dead body.
I mentioned dead
Oh.
bodies.
Ooh, I'd like to use it on Rehood.
Why? He's not dead or a plant?
Isn't Rehood the one that died?
Ah, yes. Right, sorry, I got him confused with Dorhan. Okay.
Well, I think I need to attune to it. I think is that right?
Yes, it does require attunement.
Okay, I'll give it to him to attune, but that means we need to take a short rest.
Okay, Dagrin, your
Wasn't he,
token is
like,
on the map
batshit crazy?
for
My token
representing.
is on the
Get much
map?
out of him.
Your token is on the map for representing where the group is. You're the first in line, so yay.
Alright.
So you guys can move that to show me where you would like to go.
Okay, why don't we head back to the Dark Lake District and find a place where we could possibly, oh no, stay for the day.
Well, I don't know
Um,
if it's going to be really safe to like stick around without the giant kind of looking over us.
Yeah, I'm even wondering if we should ask if we can get him to escort us back, because we were getting some pretty nasty looks on the way here.
You
Or
were.
if he could give us, maybe he could supply us with a nice, safe place to sleep.
Snuggle up with some giant.
Don't knock it till you tried it.
I was interested in seeing what the holes
Okay,
the holes was.
so you go along with Dorhan, and he shows you down, and he takes you first to the lit hole, and shows you inside, and you find that it is, for all intents and purposes, their kitchen. It's a pretty loose use of the word. There's a large bench big enough to hold 2 people lengthways and 4 people sideways. You'd barely make a scratch in it. On this bench is what appears to be the torso of a huge beast that's in an unrecognizable state. There's no limbs, no head. It's basically just the middle piece that is in various state of cut-upedness. Some parts of it completely severed and sitting there all chunkied. Other parts are only part way through cut. And hanging up next to this table is huge, long, person-length strips of meat that are currently just draining blood at this point into a small trough in the ground. None of it's wasted though. Next to this trough is a bucket filled with blood as well. That looks like it's ready to be taken off somewhere. So it's basically just a giant meatery in there right now.
Meatery. Is that
Meatery.
what they call him in New Zealand?
No, I'm making up words because I'm a DM. Go fuck yourself.
Alright, man, if I could fuck myself, I'd have some internet shit going on.
Probably wouldn't be playing D&D right now.
I'd be banging myself real hard.
Anyway, I don't think this is actually going to help us that much.
Probably not. Is this where you guys eat and live?
It's where food is prepared for taking into the main chambers.
Gotcha. What about the other holes? Similar purpose?
He says, would you like to know more?
Obviously, yes.
All right. And he leads you out of the meatery and across into the other hole that wasn't terribly hidden, and takes you inside. And in it you see 2 giant-sized bedrolls. And each bedroll at the top of it has a pillow that's made with the what looks to be an entire stuffed cow or similar creature serving as a pillow. Says,
Is
this
this your house?
Since
is not where I sleep. This is much too fancy for me. This is where H-Gram sleeps.
Oh, we should probably go.
He nods. It is a good idea.
Oh yes, when you're done showing us around, is it possible you could escort us back to the Dark Lake?
You could probably ask him if he comes back to you guys. At the moment he's just with...
That's what I was asking him.
Oh, he's still with Milo down in the tunnels right now.
Oh, I thought I was following them, so...
Oh, right.
Never said, though.
Yeah, didn't hear you say that. Sorry. Alright, well, we'll consider that you followed them. So you ask him that, and he looks at you. He says, why would I need to escort you back? No one will stop you leaving this city.
Okay, I'm just nervous, because it's kind of creepy around.
He laughs and says, you're in the Underdark. And leaves it at that, as if that's enough.
Yeah, I get it.
All right. Well, I'm gonna guess that everything else is sort of personal quarters and whatnot. So I think we're just gonna take our leave.
He shrugs and
But thanks
says,
for the-
your loss, and takes you back up the tunnel with Clinful to where you meet the other 3. Where to
Well-
next?
shall we try and head towards? Can't remember what the actual plan was. We were gonna be going to Lingdenstone via this other trading place, weren't we?
Yeah, outside of the city. Oh,
Mm.
yeah, what's his face said, what's his name? Jar said if we got to this part of the city, he could get us back on track and find our way to the surface. So, I mean, we're on this side of the city, so... Hey, Jim Jar.
Jim Jar looks over. Yeah. What do you
Got
want?
your bearings?
He looks around. I think so.
Guess we can, resume our trip to back to the surface.
As you say that, Duergar nearby overhears you say that to Jim Jar. And they wander over and they say in hushed voice, surface. You going the surface? You're from the surface.
Well, I mean, we don't look like natives.
Shakes his head and says, no. Surface dwellers don't come here. Don't be silly. You can't
Oh
be
yeah,
from the
yeah,
surface.
we're going back to the Dark Lake.
We're on vacation.
He laughs nervously. Underdark. Vacation. Kind of people are you?
Desperate ones.
Desperate and crazy in equal measures.
He looks over the group and he says, "You know, there's word about some drow looking for some surface types. Surface types."
Oh, those ones. Yeah, I think we met them a few weeks back. Yeah, nasty bunch, those ones.
He laughs
I
again.
don't-
Yeah, you look like one of them. And he points at
A drow?
Milo. Says, you too. You look like one as well. Looks
You
at
know,
Tom and
all
Glenville.
halflings look
Drow?
alike.
I'm sure you'll
No.
fit in.
I know all our surface types look familiar, you know, or we all look the same up on the surface. It's all the sunlight.
Says, yeah, you're probably right. But not often. Not often do we see free ones walking around. Surface.
So, how much are these drow offering for these surfaces?
He smiles and says, more than you can afford. 100 gold for the surfaces.
Each?
He looks at you. There's only one of me. What do you mean? What?
Alright. This guy's crazy.
100 gold. I thought we'd be worth more than that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I'm assuming it's each, but yeah, I don't really get this guy. He's kind of crazy.
You know what they say about assuming.
You make an ass out of Umi.
Just wondering, this guy basically all alone? Like, is there other Duergar that are around if he just happened to be, I don't know, accidentally stabbed?
There are other people around. No one's paying you guys any particular attention other than looks of disdain. It doesn't look like there's anyone that's, standing nearby keeping an eye on him and you. But there are, obviously, because people are looking over, there are few opportunities where there aren't people watching.
Yeah, I'm gonna remark that that's a stupid idea. Yeah, because last time I checked, Duergar have the racial ability to go invisible.
Well, I mean, he didn't say anything, so you're just saying
True.
something stupid out of nowhere. That's stupid.
See,
Saying
you
no one is-
he's just saying, for the service people, and you pipe up saying, well, that's stupid. Duergar can go invisible. And he looks at you and he says, what? Yes, what? We can. What?
Drugs?
Alright, wait, I have a thing, I think. I'm a thing. Right? What do I have?
You are a thing. But yes, out of character, they can go invisible.
I was out of character myself.
Yeah.
I wasn't really.
Yeah, no, that's why I answered you. In the end. After mocking
In
you.
character?
I thought I get like suggestion or some shit.
Your bard, you can.
Oh, hey, Bard. Do your Bard thing.
I don't think that bard can because he's a bad bard.
Of course,
Hold on.
of course, this guy playing a Bard, he would not get any social skills, even on a Bard.
Hey, he has charm person. We'll actually take a bio there early. We'll come back at 20 past the hour. So we'll be back in 13 minutes. If you guys want to take your break now, and I'll be back soon.
This is my first time playing a bard.
Man, you got that giant pretty turned on before.
Pretty turned on. What?
Got him pretty excited, mate. My mind failed me. Just like my words
I
every
don't-
other day.
What?
The giant, H-gram.
Yeah.
Oh,
they-
he got all.
Unbothered.
Yeah. Literally.
So we basically killed one of his mates, and then they invited us to give a speech, and they gave us a magic crystal. I think we did pretty well out of that.
True enough.
My main
See,
reason
Dan?
for wanting to get back to the dark.
Fuck off.
Ah, good times.
You up
Anyway.
the reward for yourself.
No. I'm at like 730 gold now. I can max bet for a while.
What's max bet?
250.
Oh, okay.
It's like 3. I mean, a while, like half an hour because it's once every 10 minutes.
It's fucking dumb.
Sorry, buddy. Hey, it's not like you lost anything anyway. Oh, no, you beat
Anyway,
your
rest of
5
the
as well.
party.
Sorry?
Anyway, rest of the party. My main reason for wanting to go back to the Dark Lake is partly so we can find a point to rest, so we can get our stuff back and attune to that new item we got.
Who needs to attune?
Well, see, the thing is, if the Drow are stuck in Dark Lake and they can't get over here, and then we walk into the Dark Lake, and then they'll be able to find us. So I don't really think that's a good plan.
And we can
I
always
think
rest
we
on
need
the
to get
road.
moving. I don't. Yeah, I'd rather rest somewhere on the road. Yeah, there's been too many people that have seen us already.
Won't the
If
Drow
this-
get beaten up if they start a fight?
Not if they pay people off,
They're-
or, say
They're
we're
paying
slaves.
a reward. We are their lawful slaves by the so legally they're just reclaiming their property. I think I think we need to keep moving.
Okay.
I would like to tell our new friend over there, who's been like, "Ooh, guys, drows get paid money and shit." I'd like to convince him that the drow would sooner kill him and take us than give him money and take us. Have we started playing again? Nope. I want to go have a smoke.
Oh, no, we're started. It's 20 past now. It's
Oh,
just
okay.
bad timing, buddy.
Oh, I'll just smoke out the window. You just might need to roll for me if that's okay.
It's not okay. It's never okay. So we come back. It's now 20 past, so it's 21 past. A minute. First off, Tom, could you please roll me a perception?
Did you say Tom?
Yes. Thank you. Now, could you please roll me a stealth? Tom? Could you please roll me...
Stealth?
Yep, a stealth. I'm just going to keep making you roll dice. Just to piss you off.
Oh, fuck off, man. I'm like bending like back's awkward angle and shit.
Oh, it worked. My job here is done. Okay, so
Why do I need to roll a stealth?
you don't need to roll anything. Nothing matters because I was just trying to get you to roll while you're having a smoke. Stupid.
No, that was what was going through my mind.
Yep. So, where do you guys head from here?
I think we're gonna leave the city,
Alright. So, you're gonna
the
Ig-
east.
ignore Buddy Guy? Pal Man?
I told you I wanna persuade him that the drow would sooner kill him and take us prisoner and kill him than take us prisoner and pay him.
Alright, roll me a persuasion in the tower.
Could you please roll it for me?
Nah.
What about now?
I have a +8. Very nice. Okay, so you try telling him that, and he's pretty concerned, and as you tell him that they'd rather just kill him and take you, he pauses for a minute and he says, "But if I don't get paid, I'll be dead anyway. It's just, I don't want to die. I don't want to die. I want you to die.
Why do you want us to die?
Because you're not me. You're from the
We're your
surface."
friends. But we're your friends.
He looks. What? Friends?
Remember
You're from the surface.
we had a drink together just last night. And we sang together. Remember when we sang Barney together?
Roll me
And
a
I started
deception
playing
at disadvantage.
I started playing
Can I
Barney.
inspire him?
You can certainly inspire him. So roll me a deception.
Can you please roll it for me?
No. If I roll it, it'll be a 1 miraculously.
That shit.
Oh god, it wasn't much better. He looks and he says, "No, I don't know you. You're the one that the man told me about. You're the surface. You are the surface." He says, "No. I said no." And he starts to walk away.
I'm gonna say, just as he's leaving in a threatening tone, you know, I heard that those surfacers managed to basically take out half of an entire drowned campman by themselves. I bet they'll do some nasty things to anyone that was stupid enough to rat them out. And
He comes over and he says, "You've heard about the surfacers? Where did you see them? Where did you see
I
them?
told you I saw them a few weeks ago, and they were a real nasty bunch.
When is not where. Where did you see them?"
You saw him in the Dark Lake.
He says,
We saw them
"The Dark
on
Lake.
the other side of the Dark Lake.
The drow might already have the money to pay. But," and he stops for a second, "but you're,
We're albinos.
It's-
Don't
We're
worry
your
about it.
friends.
it's, but perhaps I will just, I'll be back." And with that he walks off towards the furrow.
Right, let's get out of here quick, guys.
Jim Jar, we need to leave.
Dimjar nods and says, "Yep, I gathered that, surfaces," and begins to lead you through the city towards, actually towards the furrow as well, but more, more that way.
Can you please describe it to me in intense detail? I can't see my screen.
It's the map and there's a
East.
line on it and it looks eastishly,
Okay, thank you.
like southeast.
I'm a little nervous about walking that close to the hold of the Deep King.
But you don't know what the Hold of the Deep King is. Though you do, because just looking over the way you're heading is a dark and foreboding sort of edifice lodged between two huge columns, like stalagmite-y things that stretch as far as you can see, and wreathing these columns is thick clouds of smoke, sort of concealing the full size of this thing. And on either side of the hold, the only light piercing these clouds are two giant basalt braziers that are dripping molten lava in a moat type
Is it pronounced
situation.
basalt?
Basalt?
I've always pronounced it basalt.
Assault?
Yeah, I've
Bath
only ever
salts.
read it. I've never, no.
Basalt. I don't know. Everyone says
It's,
everything differently,
you know.
and I'm always wrong, so go with basalt.
Tomato kind of
That's all.
thing, I
That's
guess.
pretty much how I thought it was. Who cares
Close
anyway?
enough.
So anyway, they're bath salt, and they're dripping lava. And
I like bath salts.
I love bath salts, says the little guy,
Basalt.
following you along. A bath salts! Giant bath salts! Smoke them all the time! So yeah, it sort of gives the hold a airy red glow that's just faintly lighting up the clouds around the braziers.
The braziers.
Braziers? Isn't that a bra?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Bath salt bras on either side of this hold.
There we go. Now things are making sense.
I'm now very happy.
And there's thick stone walls bristling with iron turrets and battlements overlooking most of the city. Or possibly Brisel, if you guys want to argue another word.
I wasn't arguing, I was actually curious.
Oh, Adam. It's okay. It's okay.
Now I'm just gonna get overly defensive for no reason. Fuck's sakes.
Anyway. Now, as you guys get closer and closer to where you're pretty much passing this hold, it appears to be completely unguarded. So,
Well, if it's the Durgar King, that's really weird.
yeah, so you've got a huge sort of castle door that's half open, only open enough to sort of let people through, people-sized people. It looks like it can go maybe 10 or 15 times higher up to allow large things in or out, but at the moment it's only just ajar enough to allow people. And
Is it a gym jar?
it is a gym jar. It's a gym jar. It's a gym jar.
Well, I think we might as well keep going on. I don't think that looting the hold of the king sounds like a smart thing to do.
No, it sounds like a stupid plan. One that would result in our horrible deaths.
Fair
Well,
enough.
we could go to jail again. It's always fun.
Now, as you guys become sort of side onto it, everyone rolls me a perception in the tower.
Perceptione.
Theron, Clenville, and Dagrin, you all, as you walk past what appears to be the open area in front of the hold, you hear sort of like a low-level marketplace din. You hear the sound of voices, people moving around, the occasional clank of steel. It sounds like there's not a large amount of noise, but enough that there's quite a few people hustling and bustling, sort of as you walk past this area.
It's probably no marketplace we'll be welcome at, but
Oh crap. I just have a really bad feeling now.
why? It's a marketplace. I mean,
But
no,
is it?
we're not
You
in a
can't see
marketplace,
anything.
we're in an empty place.
Yeah.
And the Durgar can go invisible.
You're walking past that circle that I've just chucked there, which is
okay.
completely empty. But it sounds like you're standing amongst a market or walking past a marketplace.
I mean, they could be invisible. That's fine, or it could be an illusion. Who knows?
Who knows?
Could be some
Let's
Hellboy
just
shit.
keep trying to get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
Pick up the pace.
I'll silently let the rest of my party know that,
Ooh, I have a
that,
door knocker. Hang on.
believe that.
It's very strange, by the way. Dan doesn't actually have any friends.
God, man. Fucking brutal.
Truth does hurt.
Guess so.
Right, I'm back. It was only leash. So, Theron, what were you saying just before I had to go?
Said you have no
I
friends.
guess I'll just silently, using Wake of Mind, just relay to the rest of the party that something weird seems to be going on there, for us to be on our guard, but let's just get the hell out of here and just not to attract any attention as we go.
Alright, and as you guys just about reach the end of this open area, you feel yourself stopped. Each of you feels like you've run into someone, and moments later you find out that you actually have. And there's 10 Duergar stone guards that effectively materialize in front of you. They just fade into the visible spectrum as you've all bumped into them. And one of them at the front has grabbed Jim Jar and is holding him just off the ground a little ways, and the rest are all standing blocking your way.
Hey, fellas.
I will say the Stone Giants let us in here, so we're allowed to be here by technicality.
Yeah, we're with the Stone Talkers.
Okay, as you mentioned the Stone Talkers, the one holding Jim Jar immediately puts him down and says, my apologies, of course, I'm terribly sorry. You won't mention this to Hagram, will you?
No, we're leaving, so it was no problem at all.
He nods and says, I do apologize, and he waves to his Duergar pals, who all shuffle out of the way. He says, where? He looks to the way Jim Jar's taking you. He says, where exactly are you going?
East.
I'll say we have business in... What's the trading post city name again?
Lingenstern? Right?
No, not that.
Medulla Oblongata, whatever the place is called. I know the one you mean. Let me pull up the map.
Yeah,
Central
That starts
I'd
with an M.
I'd like to say that, yeah, we have business there.
It was Mental Dereth.
I was right.
So you mentioned Mental Dereth, and the guard says, that's certainly not this way. What is your... Forgive me if I ask too much, but what is your purpose for travelling to Mental Dereth?
We're looking for a passage.
We're investigating Stone Talker stuff. It's above your pay grade.
He looks and he says, Of course, it's not my place to ask, but I do have suspicions with you all trying to travel through here. Perhaps we need to go talk to Hagram together.
I don't think we do. As I wave my hand in front of his face and roll a persuasion.
He says, your Jedi mind tricks will not work here.
If you
roll a
show
persuasion.
that crystal that Hergam gave us and be like, hey, he's told us to use this in our journey. I don't know. Does it have any writing or etchings or anything on it? That's
No, I
Stone
think it's just a
Talker
cool-looking
stuff?
crystal.
Well, I mean,
Yeah, it's pretty unmarked. As the picture showed, it was just a straight, well-polished piece of quartz. So you try to persuade him to not go back and talk to Hagram?
Yeah, basically just let us on our way, motherfucker.
He says, of course, that would be much too far to travel back the way you've came. How about you step back here? And he gestures to the hold. It says, you can await with the king. Well, we fetch Hagram, and bring him
did he say the
here.
king?
We're gonna see the king of the Duergar?
You ask him, he nods. If you don't ask him, he assumes you step into the hold.
This is pretty exciting stuff, guys.
As he sort of swings his arm to gesture at the hold, almost as his arm passes through the empty space, a ripple and a wave travels through the air, and you see 200 duergar, roughly, shimmer into visible spectrum and part, like Moses in the Red Sea. He parts the duergar guards, and leaving about 100-foot walk from you to the door of the keep. The hold.
I don't think we can say no.
Showing off, huh?
Pretty much.
Well, we don't really have a choice, so we might as well go in.
Sure.
Alright.
I'd like to quietly say to Jim Jar, it's like, is this not the way to Mantle Dareth? I thought that this was where we were heading.
Do you say that out loud, or do you say that awakened-minded-y?
I suppose I might as well say that silently to him.
He thinks back at you and says, I know what I'm doing. Trust me. I've given you no reason to not trust me.
Okay. Just a little worried because it looks like we're in a bit of a pickle.
I don't really think we can blame Jim Jar for the 200 or so guards.
No, something else is up. But I just wanted to make sure.
Alright. So, you guys step into the door of this hold, and you find yourself basically immediately in a vast hall, and down either side of this hall's walls, lava pours down troughs cut into the black basalt bath salt walls, and the heat in here is pretty oppressive. It becomes quickly hard to breathe with the heat coupled with the smell of sulfur, and thick black columns line the center of the hallway, supporting the heavy ceiling. And at the far end of the hall, you see about 20 steps leading up to a platform, and on this platform sits an iron throne on an obsidian dais.
Basically, it looks like a stereotypical evil overlord domain.
Yeah, basically.
I remark, this seems like the evilest place ever.
I'd like to basically just give Cleanville a jab with my elbow. It's probably not going to win us any friends here. Let's just...
I don't think he may not be
Try
able to
and-
speak common.
Does anyone
Nice.
here... what language does everyone speak?
I can speak undercommon.
I speak halfling.
I speak common, elvish, and undercommon.
Alright.
I think I just caused common.
Does anyone speak Dwarvish?
No.
Draconic?
Nope.
Giant?
Nope.
Nope. Okay, so no one speaks those three, so it's speaking in undercommon, so just chuck an X into chat if you speak undercommon. Alrighty. So you hear booming down the hallway in undercommon, you just simply hear, "Step forward."
I tell them to step forward.
Yeah, I motion the party forward.
And you all do you continue down the tunnel all the way to the end? Or the hall, I should
I'll
say.
keep going until I hear otherwise.
Alright, so you keep walking forwards, and you eventually find yourself at the base of the stairs to this dais and throne, looking up, and you see this man, or this king, sitting atop the throne.
Well, he looks
Sweet.
badass.
Sweet headgear, man.
Sweet headgear. And next to him stands what appears to be a royal consort in a fine gold gown, adorned with gold coins and streamers running down all amongst the crown. The gown,
I
sorry.
thought the
Coins.
Duergar would be more vain
Yep.
and just wear a dress made purely out of gold.
Nah, never silly. Now, as you get to the stairs, does anyone try to step up them, or do you just wait at the bottom?
Wait.
All right.
I'm gonna kneel.
You kneel?
I'll do the same.
All right, so Clinville
Yeah,
and Milo.
Kneeling does sound appropriate, actually.
So Milo kneels, Clinville quickly follows, Tom notices the other two and joins them kneeling. Theron and Dagran, do you stay standing?
Yeah, I'll kneel.
You kneel as well?
Well,
Alright, so the five of you...
bow to no man.
Well, I am a woman, he cries out. So you all kneel down in front of the stairs, and in a language that all of you can understand, to each of you it sounds like your common tongue, your natural tongue. You just hear, "Rise."
Okay, we all do. Or, I mean, I do at least. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, do what the man says.
All right.
Yeah, why not?
So you rise and
do
you-
the old rise.
You look at him. Could I get someone to roll me a dice? Give me a 1d100. Take the first result.
How much damage he does to us.
4. Now, as you all rise and look at this deep king, this Duergar king, you notice at his feet lies a cheap wooden tankard. Just a normal drinking receptacle. And you smell a very pungent ale wafting down the stairs towards the five of you. And as he goes to speak once more, he says, "I see," and he hicks and burps, and a big bubble pops out of his mouth, and he says, "Excuse me, I see."
Did this actually happen? Or
This
is this
actually
you?
happens.
All right.
And he says, "I see you're in my city."
A fair
Yes.
assessment.
We are in your city because we're talking to you.
It's been very welcoming so far. Very nice, well adorned.
I
Lovely.
have seen you enter. I see you trying to leave. But I do not understand why you ever came. Enlighten me. And he hiccups again. Excuse me.
much like many foreigners, we initially came here to do some trading, and when the incident with the poor giant happened,
Hold on. Excuse me. He says, "Hey, and he turns around and he puts his back between you and this person next to him. He says, you hear it mumbling, and then you see him throw his head back and scull what appears to be another drink, and then there's a clank, and he turns back, and you see another tankard on the floor, and he carry on. You were saying what?
I said we came here just to trade and do our business like many other travelers, and we got involved in the incident that happened there with the stone speaker.
Hold
uninvited us
on,
back.
he interrupts you again. Just wait a minute. You were the incident? With the giant and the heads? That was you?
We assisted and maintaining the peace.
He turns back to the concubine, the person next to him. He says another mumbled sentence, nods, and well, go on.
And then we
I think there's something weird about him.
He has deceptively good hearing.
Do you say anything further? Do you attempt to try and continue telling your story?
I basically just try to tell him that, we've done our business and we were planning to leave. And we
Saved his town.
He laughs. A giant threatening this town. No. only those, and he dismissively waves his hand, those troglodytes and idiots and Darklake would have been hurt. Never would have got close to the town. And he pulls out another tankard, God knows from where. He reaches into his cloak, pulls out another tankard, sculls it back. He says, do you mind if I sit? It's getting hard to stand. Do you mind?
No, Your Majesty. I think you can sit if you want to.
Yes. King, that's me. I'm the king. And he sits down. He says, I can't think straight unless I've had these. And he holds up the jug. Yeah, the drunkard. Fuck, my mind.
Tankard.
The tankard. And says, if I'm not drunk, I just feel ridiculous.
Would you like some music with your drink, Your Majesty? And I strum my guitar on a nice note.
Doo-doo. He nods and says, that is much appreciated while we wait for H guy. Man. H man guy, Graham. Yes.
Alrighty. And I break into a nice Barney jig.
Alright. While this is all going on, the royal consort to the side is pretty unmoving, unspeaking. Not really paying you any heed. More just standing by the king. And
Does she have a beard?
No. She's got freshly shaved stubble, maybe 3 days growth, so like 1.5 inches for a Duergar. So, what do you guys do?
Anyway,
do you
the
want to
king
wait?
is drunk.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just kind of stand there and.
I'm gonna dance to a song.
I'm gonna just stand. I don't want to offend the king in any way because I'm afraid.
Fair enough. So you guys wait, and about an hour later, you hear, surprisingly well, you all hear footsteps from far down the other end of the hall, way further than any of you could naturally hear. But you hear it clear as if it was next to you, and as you look down the end, you see H. Graham coming down the tunnel. And the king looks up and he says, here's Frank now.
Frank?
Yes, that's what he said.
Alright.
Alright. So he comes down the hall, and within a couple of minutes, he's standing next to you all at the base of the stairs as well, and he nods up to the king and he says, Horgar. And the king nods back and says, Frank, I think. Yeah. How's it going? And H. Graham looks to you all and says, what have I been summoned for?
Apparently to say we met.
We were attempting to leave the city and go about our business, and we were detained.
You gonna keep going? Sorry, I don't know if you stopped talking or not.
I
think
guess I was
does
going
sound
to
like-
leave it at that.
Yeah, it did sound like
I was
the end
gonna
of the sentence.
I'm sorry. So H. Graham looks to the king and says, you summoned me for this. And the king just looks confused and he says, what? What? I didn't... No. That was... And they came in. And he looks very confused. And H. Graham turns to you all and says, I fear he has been at it again. Has he said anything unusual?
Define unusual.
Most of what he said has been a little unusual.
What's unusual for him? I don't know.
Well, have you ever met a king before?
No.
And King Horgar pipes up, I have!
Okay, yeah, I guess all his behavior has been unusual.
He nods
I
and
figured
says,
he was
On
drunk.
the other
It
hand,
is all-
he's had a fair few cups, hasn't he? It's, I guess he's just... When you're a king, I guess you can afford to be drunk if you want to.
But then again, he is a dwarf. Do dwarves get drunk easily?
not very easily, no. But as you say, the king can, do as he pleases, effectively. H. Graham says, yes, but I fear it is not that he's doing as he pleases. It's that he is unable to do anything differently. And he turns to the king and he says, I feel I have proven that I know these fine five. Now, if you aren't too
Jim
put
Jar.
out, I might leave. Jim Jar doesn't count because you're players. And with that, he turns and he walks down the hall, and the king sort of, very good, Frank, and sort of leans back in his chair and just looks at the roof of this hall and, whew.
I'd like to see if we could also start moving and follow behind H. Graham's coattails before we get detained again for God knows what stupid reason.
Alrighty, so you do. You follow him out of the hall, and no one or nothing stops you. And you reach the door of the hold and step into the outside, where it appears all of the Duergar have once again gone invisible, with the exception of a line of 50 that sort of point towards the city as if guiding you out of the hold.
Before we leave, I'm going to turn and bow and yell, it was nice to meet you, my liege, and then walk out.
Alright, and as you do, you hear, you, and then you leave.
Alright, well, that was interesting.
Yeah, I guess we'll try and thank H. Graham for getting us out of a pickle, and then I think we need to, again, resume our plan of getting the hell out of this crazy fucking city.
Funny you should say that. As you thank H. Graham, he whispers into your ear, we must talk further. And then bounds off towards his cavern and just calls over his shoulder, later! Leaving the five of you just beyond the clearing of the hold in front. And Jim Jar, alright, you ready to leave?
Hey, he wants to talk to us later?
Yes.
I guess.
I mean, that's what he said, right?
Yep, he wants to talk to you again
That's what he said. but
later.
That also means hanging around the city, and not sure about you, but I haven't really liked our reception so far. Apart from
Yeah,
H.
not
Graham,
really.
who's been really cool.
I don't know. We're kind of best friends with the king now.
And the stone speaker
Until he
seems to have a lot of
changes his
clout
mind,
with everyone.
Exactly.
Well, maybe
No,
if we hang out with them specifically, like go straight there and just stay there until he's ready, we'd probably be okay.
And the
Yeah.
drow won't be able to bug us.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe we just hang out with Warhan then. Yeah. We probably need to have at least have a short rest anyway. So. I'm just a bit worried about wandering the city, given how crazy everything seems to be.
Real.
Alright.
Well, I vote we follow over to the caves again.
So you head over to the caves, and you get there sometime, you imagine, after your big mate did, H. Graham. And as you get there, you see Dorhan fussing outside the exit of the cave, sort of talking to himself quite quickly, like he's trying to convince himself of something. And then he sees you all, and he says, "Ah, you have returned. This is most fantastic." And he walks over to the lot of you and kneels down to talk. He says, "Why have you come back?"
You asked to talk to us later? Frank
The
wants to talk to us.
stone speaker wants to talk to us later.
He nods and says, yes, he did say something about that. And then he headed off to the lair, the dragon's lair. I haven't seen him since. It's been about 20 minutes. Oh, you can tell I'm excited.
The dragon's lair?
He nods and says, yes. Oh, no one's told you.
No one's told us.
He nods and says, all right, let's discuss this inside.
Let's head inside.
All right, so you all head into the cavern, and you are ushered into or down the tunnel that was well hidden, that Milo didn't head down to before, and you find yourself in a sort of a largish chamber with a tall table that's about as tall as you guys, from from floor to table level. It's about as high as the five of you, except for Milo, who's half that. And he shoves over two chairs, looks at you and says, "Oh, I apologize. Have a seat on the floor." And he kneels down, leaning one arm on the table, and says, "We have much to discuss."
All right, well, let's talk then.
I'm gonna jump up and sit on the table.
Alright, so as you bound up onto the table, you sit next to him.
Okay.
The rest
My
of you.
first question is about the dragon.
Alright. So you say that to him, and he looks over and he says, yes, Thembashord. As if expecting you to know that. He looks confused when you all look confused. He says, "You mean you've been in Gracklestug for this long, and you don't know there's a dragon here?"
We've
We've
only
been here for like
been
10
here
minutes.
We've been in Gracklestug all of about an afternoon.
He nods and says,
Could really
probably
use
like
some sleep.
4 hours, probably at best.
"Yeah, I think you've probably only been here for the better part of an afternoon at this point." He says, "Well, it's not to say you're not attentive, but most outsiders are contacted by the keepers by now. You haven't had anyone strange approach you?"
Yes, we have, but no one's brought us anywhere.
He nods and says, "I imagine they offered you work?"
Nope.
He sort of furrows his brow and, "Oh, well then. Perhaps you're a bit stranger than I thought."
It may have just not happened yet.
He shrugs. Well, it's better you know now anyway. And he talks of the area you see on the map, Thimbashord's Cavern. Just put a yellow arrow across it. Can you see it?
Yes, we can.
Thank you.
Awesome. And he tells that there's a group called the Keepers who are in charge of, well, keeping the dragon. And
I'm guessing the dragon is called Thimbachode.
that is most certainly accurate. And he's been withheld here for a while. He is an adult dragon, so he's definitely well matured, but not quite as wise or powerful as an ancient dragon. And the keepers are charged with making sure he is plied with treasure and other such pleasantries that he demands, so as to keep him around as well as insurance that Gracklestug is not going to be threatened by anything short of another dragon.
What color is this dragon?
He is a red dragon, he says. Scales as red as the lava he sits upon.
Ooh.
So he's just here to protect the city?
Well, as long as the keepers can keep him happy, yes. He says, the keepers, though, they're not to be trusted. And he asks, if you are approached by one of these keepers, perhaps you could do me a favor.
Yes.
Tell me everything they tell you. And I mean everything. Absolutely, spare no detail, everything.
Well, you're gonna have to write it all down, Dan. It's like I can't remember anything.
It appears
sure.
there's weird politics going on.
Could I ask what do you think is happening? You suspecting some sort of a plot?
He says, I don't know. This whole conversation is hook-shaped, though, should you wish to push along. He basically just tells you that he doesn't trust them, but he wants to find out more of the goings-on of the Keepers before he can decide if he wants to make a course of action.
I'll tell him. I think I'll tell him that we'll keep that in mind. But to be honest, we really were on our way out of the city.
He nods and says, I understand. I will understand if you leave. That is your prerogative. It is, after all, an open-world exploration RPG.
Wow.
That's my way of telling you you don't have to accept it. It is purely by choice.
Still, it is interesting.
Yeah. So you, of course, do know, just to drop back into complete, you guys are up to date with everything. You do know that you have the drow chasing the three of you and Jim Jar that escaped, and therefore the two of Tom and Glenville that are travelling with you. So you do know the drow are after you. You've talked with someone who possibly thought you maybe were them. You may have put them off the scent, but you do know now that there are people being told to look out for you. It may have just been luck that it was a flaming retard that was the first person that approached you about it. So the drow are still after you. They are still looking for you. They know what you look like. You can stick around in Gracklestug. That's going to be your main risk, is that they will catch up to you. You may have to deal with that if you stuck around. Or you can push on forwards and find new risks.
Well, I mean, the last time we
We're on
fought the
leaning.
drow, they were a bit shit. So, I mean,
The small scout party that was sent forwards towards you.
all right. And then when we escaped from the city, we kind of cleaned out all the cards.
This is true.
I
But
don't know.
if we are technically their property, they could
Didn't you
do
have, like,
something with the
make it-
the Duergar.
Weren't there like 10 of you when that happened?
There
No.
was a number of NPCs that were there with you. A couple of them were
Yeah.
useful. But you
Well, I
guys
mean,
have
I
also
think-
advanced in level since then.
It was mainly, I'm talking about like me and Milo. Well, mostly Milo killed like 6 of them.
Darendal and
the dwarf lady.
the little gnomelets did do some shit too.
And then
I
that
think 2 of us also died, though.
Yeah,
the
a
dwarf
bunch.
lady fucking killed herself.
I think
So,
Milo died how many times?
Twice, I think.
they're fine.
I mean, I think the way I'd see it, like, if we'd been kidnapped from the surface, we're probably pretty keen to get back there.
Yeah.
And, like, I agree this is kind of interesting, but I think we'd be probably thinking more about ourselves than politics of some random Underdark city.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
it's really
Like,
none of
I'm
our...
happy to do this if the rest of the group agrees with it, but I think, Theron's vote would definitely be to keep trying to get the hell out of here.
Yep. I mean, don't also like fall into the trap of thinking I care. Like, some DMs will give you a hook and want you to follow that hook and be sad if you don't. I do zero effort for my DMing, so literally everything I read is as I read it.
That's obvious.
So it is no sweat off my back if you guys push on and ignore every hook you've just been given in the city. That's the reason they're there. They're hooks, they're not railroads. So you guys can do whatever, and don't base that, if you were ever intending to, on upsetting me or not.
Still, this is a cookie city. King's a drunkard and a dwarf, so that's a bit rare. There's a dragon. There's a bunch of politicking between giants and the dragon's guards. There's drow. Lots of stuff.
Well, we're also dirty foreigners, so I mean...
We will take our second break here. We've got
Okay.
another 40-ish minutes after that, so we can get a direction of where you want to go. Have a think, have a yarn if you stick around and see what everyone wants to do. And I'll be back at 25 past.
Okay, see ya.
Sorry, I had leash screeching like a banshee.
How's that not normal?
It's normal. It's just annoying.
True love.
So anyway, you guys leave the city. So you cast Pass Without Trace and spend your keys to do so. And you guys push on for the rest of the day. And it only takes a couple of hours for the smooth stone that was reminiscent of Gracklestug's proper city to fade once again to rough, rocky paths and hewn trails or crevices that you're travelling rather than roads. And Jimjar stops after a number of hours and says, "We are far enough to sleep if you guys would like to take a rest."
Sounds good to
It's
me.
good to me.
Let's do it.
Alrighty. So you all pop down for a long rest and shit went out. There you go. And we'll go ka-ching, ka-ching. Tom Bardello, you are level 5. But he's AFK, so I'll just take all that back. Damn it, you're here.
Oh, just see, didn't I level last week?
Nope, you're at level 4. And you're now at 6,700 out of 65.
I do believe your inspiration goes up this level.
I do believe that is the case
awesome.
as well. You get a D8 now instead of a D6.
Oh, it's choice.
Alright, so you can do that just while we're here. Now the night passes without much happening. No travellers pass you by. And in the morning, Jimjar shakes you all awake and says, "I hope you're all rested. We should push on now.
Let's get going.
Sounds good.
Let's get cranking." So you guys start pushing through the rocks. Let me just bring up where you're headed. Hang on. Now, the next day you travel, and towards the middle of the day, without much happening, Jimjar suggests that you might want to look for some food and drink. Good night, Yearly. Thanks for watching. We're going to be finishing up soon anyway, so you're not going to miss much. And we'll see you tomorrow or next week. So anyway, could I get a survival or nature check from everyone who's looking for food? Yeah, just
I
chuck
thought
that
what
in.
we needed was water, right?
Well, I mean, it's looking for supplies, whether you find food or water. It's all the same roll.
Just thought probably should have given somebody an inspiration since we're nearly at the end of the session.
All right. Well, someone can have mine.
I'll give Milo my inspiration.
All right. I'll give Tom my inspiration.
Oh, thank you.
I'll give whoever needs one. That'd be
I'm the
Dagman,
last.
I guess.
Oh, didn't help me, but I appreciate it, pal.
Tom's was terrible.
Both of them?
The first one was 11, the second one was 4.
Yeah.
Dagrin 13 and 7. Milo, oh, you got a 16, that's good. So Milo and Theron, you guys both pretty much at the same time stumble across a rock that seems to be leaking water, and as you push it out of the way, you find a spring coming from behind this rock, and it begins flooding down over the path. Quite a lot of water, and you manage to gather up enough to fill all of your water skins. So Who's got a water skin?
I think, didn't we pick one up? Like, he sold one and I grabbed it back, I think?
I have 2 water skins, because I believe I bought one back as well, and I already had one.
Okay.
Oh no, I think he just kept it. What?
It looks like we've got...
well, there's 2. Tom Bardello's got 2.
Yeah. Okay, so you managed to fill those. I'm going to say that they have 25 each. You already have 15, so that goes up to 50. So you have enough for 50 days of water.
Choice. Someone needs to carry one of those water skins. That's a lot of fucking water.
Water is weightless in this universe. Don't argue.
Excellent.
The water skin itself is not, however. It weighs 500,000 pounds. So you guys find plenty of water, which is great. And Dagrin and Tom, you guys each find... Dagrin, you find a small rodent-like animal that you slaughter, and you manage to get 3 days worth of food.
Woo!
And Tom, you manage to find an even smaller rodent, which you slaughter, and that gives you 2 days worth of food. So you guys go up to 39 food days total. All in all, not too bad of a look. And,
Pretty much the best.
I'll just take off the 5 for each of those, for each of you. 6 with Jim Jar. There you go. Cool. So you guys are looking good. Now, someone roll me a d20. 16. Ah, awesome. Now roll me a d12.
Was that a 10?
That
was a
was a
10.
10.
There
Oh,
you go.
12. Fantastic.
That was definitely a 12.
Now, as you guys are filling up these water skins, rather fittingly, you're just polishing off the top of the water skins, just filling up, when all of a sudden the water stops. And you hear a whine and a whistle as if there's pressure building up behind where the water's coming from. And roll me a d6. 6, eh? And as this shrieking and squealing gets louder and louder, you notice that the rock that this water was coming from begins to split and crack.
Uh-oh.
Run away.
Yeah.
Suggest we skedaddle.
So as you move back, this rock explodes out. You've all moved away just enough to see what appears to be a sunken, sealed sarcophagus burst out of the wall and splash water all around everywhere as it sits smack bang in the middle of the path, blocking the way of half of you and cutting you off from the other half, which are on the other side of it. And
Oh, good. More mummy lords. Jesus fuck.
crashing down on the top of it, you see 4 various bits of art: one statue, a couple of busts, and a water-ruined painting, which is pretty impossible to see. But the main thing is a sealed sarcophagus sitting central in the path. And
Is there any like writing or anything on it, or is it just like a stone sarcophagus?
just a stone sarcophagus with a pretty much washed smooth front. It may have had something carved on it once, but with the water running over it for God knows how long, it's completely, eroded away. And just where you guys are sort of standing and watching this, the water that splashed down around it begins to move, and some of it begins to lift, and all the water begins to sort of come together and take the shape of something
sexy lady.
weird.
Is it the sexy lady?
A weird water thing. Some might call it a water weird.
Oh boy.
And let me grab you a map. As this pile of water begins to lunge at someone. Nope, not that water. Okay.
Is it actually called a water weird?
It is called a water weird.
How did they come up with that one?
I don't know. Something weird made of water. So let me just drag you from this water weird sitting in the middle. Ah, fuck that map. It always makes it look shit. So you're just in the middle of this tunnel. The rest of it's irrelevant. You're not going to be able to find your way to or from anywhere. So you guys.
Shit.
Decran. And you see that water weird in the center of the room as he lunges straight towards Milo, who's sitting there.
Milo, no.
And there's a sarcophagus across those squares, which is difficult terrain for someone passing over it. So, roll initiative.
Alright. Freaking go. Wow, that's a big ass map. Why are there two 10-foot arrows? Oh, that's the.
That's the sarcophagus, yeah.
Alright.
So, it gets its surprise round as it leaps at you from the water pool. And it attempts to constrict Milo. Wraps itself around and does. Constricts, dealing 21 damage
Holy shit.
and grappling you. And it now switches to Milo, your turn.
Awesome. I want to break the grapple.
Alrighty, give me a strength or dexterity check. I forget. Does a tie break it? Keep forgetting. Sorry, 1 second.
Usually defender wins ties. I guess that would that
That's
be
what I'm
Milo?
wondering. I had to look this up last time. There we go. Okay, escaping a grapple. To do so, must succeed on a strength test contested by a strength first check.
It doesn't actually tell you.
Nope.
I'm just looking it up too.
Because usually, if they meet the DC, like, is it a contested roll or is that?
Yeah, it's
against...
a contested. I'm thinking it would because, like, a DC 15, you succeed on a 15. So I'm going to say that there. Yeah. So yep, you break out. You manage to worm your way free out of the water as it sloshes gently against you, and you are free.
All right.
So let's clear those.
So that was my action. So I'm just gonna use the bonus action, spend a key, and take the dodge action.
Alrighty. Cool bananas. Theron, your turn. You are over the top of the sarcophagus. Just seen it slosh onto Milo, who's darted out from underneath it.
So, is this sarcophagus, is it an impassable barrier or can I jump over it?
No, it's just difficult, so it'll take half your movement to move over it. And you can shoot past it at half cover. So it'll just be a -2 to any ranged attack that you shoot over it.
Yep. So that's
Yep, that's it.
So I won't be able to actually get to the other step, will I?
Yeah.
Oh well, I will go there for now. I will hex it for, let's say, I don't know what's useful to pull. I don't know, con saves.
Alrighty.
And I guess I will blast him.
So does the save. And you smash him for 17 damage. Alrighty.
Alrighty.
Degrin, what do you do?
I cry and take a step forward here.
Why are you crying?
I don't know. All right. Let's see here. I will. What do I got here in range? One,
Oops,
two.
forget that.
Who's it? Oh, Clinton. All right. I will.
Simon.
Bam. Bless on the three of us. Do I got everyone targeted? Nope. Right. Bless. Boom. And I will also. Oh wait, I can't stack concentration things, can I? Don't like that. I will also give him a middle finger. And that's my turn.
All right. Sorry, hang on. So many windows open. Okay, so the Water Weird attempts once again to slosh over the the two of you, but this time focusing his efforts on Dagran. He
Bastard.
misses, sloshes over you ineffectively, and you hear a strange crying, squishing, splashing noise coming from it as if it's pissed off at itself. But more alarmingly, you hear a dull thud coming from Theron's feet. Tom Bardello's turn.
Oh boy.
Alright, sorry, I'll be honest, I've just been doing my class, so I haven't been paying too much attention. Is it safe to attack it? Am I safe to just attack it?
Sure.
Anything obvious I should know about?
I'm
Anyway.
standing on top of a sarcophagus, which will be difficult to be half your movement to jump over. It's
Okay,
also thumping as if there's something inside it that wants to get out.
that's awkward. Okay, anyone need healing?
Milo could maybe use
Milo's beat up.
I don't even have the fucking combat, I'm so sorry guys.
Why are you so bad?
Because you didn't give me time to do my class. Is this water guy wearing any metal?
Yes.
Actually?
No.
Is he wielding any metal?
No.
Okay. I'll use healing word on Milo. As a level 2
Yay.
spell.
Alright.
So is that an extra D4, is it?
It should say on the spell.
1D4 for each slot level above.
So you can just
Yes.
drag it onto the chat and right click before you let it go. And it'll do that for you.
Oh, really?
Yep.
That's cool.
Boom. Done.
Well, that's 8, buddy. And I am a turn.
Now,
Some shit.
before Cleanville goes, Theron, could I get a dexterity save?
Oh, good. The water mummy. Those were things, yeah.
So you don't manage to jump off in time as a fist punches through the top of the sarcophagus and smashes into your legs. Multi-attack. So second one hits 72. Alright. And you take 23 damage and succeed on the save, thankfully.
Okay, I'm gonna hellish rebuke his ass.
Alrighty. And he passed his save.
Rebuke that ass. Watch
Ishin,
yourself.
Fantasy Ground is better in some ways than Roll20, but worse in some ways. Worse mainly being the fact you have to pay for it.
Otherwise, it's pretty much better in every way.
Otherwise, it's basically better in every way. If you use dynamic lighting on Roll20, then you'll miss that in Fantasy Grounds. But otherwise, everything else is so much better. So much better.
Well, except the performance is a little weird sometimes, but
yeah, sometimes it lags up, but I'm not sure what it is. It does it.
I mean that doesn't make the game harder or anything.
No.
Just the dice gets rolled and it looks weird.
Literally, the dice roller looks a little bit laggy for a second, but that's about it. But I think Roll20's 3D dice roll is shocking. So you smash him for 20 damage?
Yeah, half damage but vulnerable, so it's...
Full damage. Very nice.
Yeah.
So you smash him as he smashes you.
What's he vulnerable to, I'm sorry?
Fire.
Wait, vulnerable to fire?
Yep, apparently.
Yep.
It evaporates him, you silly man.
It's what,
I thought they were resistant to it. But...
Nope, resistant to bludgeoning, piercing, slashing, non-magical, immune to necrotic and poison, vulnerable to fire. Because they're just bandages, bro. You can burn some bandages up.
Oh, it's the mummy. Fuck. I thought you were talking about the water weird. I was like, what?
Oh, no, that would be strange.
I thought it was...
Oh, wait, it was a fucking water mummy? Jesus Christ. God.
So, anyway, as you've hellishly rebuked him, he has also looked you dead in the eyes and make a wisdom save.
Oh, boy.
Oh, fuck.
Which you pass. Perfectly fine. Well done. And Clenville.
Mummy's curse.
I'll just control Clenville. He will open his actions sheet.
Voice.
Where is he? Oh, there. Move up next to Milo.
I think he likes to cast, what's the one with the hit thing?
Hunter's Mark.
Hunter's Mark?
Yeah, and apparently that gives him super massive damage in following turns.
Sounds about right. So he uses Hunter's Mark as a bonus action on the Water Weird. And then... Or on himself. That's right. Yep. So, if his actions are correct... He will... use his... that. And deal... that. Which is partially resisted for 6 damage. And he passes his turn to Jimjar, who hides around the corner and says, "Not for me!"
Typical fucking Jim.
Passes his turn to the rampaging stone giant. No. Milo, your turn.
Alright, I'm going to, I guess, punch the water guy.
Alrighty.
Now, is the mummy like seem totally unrelated to the water weird? Like they're not like being controlled or whatever.
You can't really see from where you're standing. You're blocked, your vision. You can't see how either of them are behaving. All you've heard is the crash of the sarcophagus breaking open, and Theron's hellish rebuke.
Actually, I wonder if Ponsonby's still waiting at the boat for us.
He is.
No, I would assume he would leave like instantly. Like as soon as we left,
I persuaded
he
him
probably
to
turned
stay.
around.
I was like, "We're your only chance at survival," and he was like, "Okay, I'll never leave you again."
All right, Milo. You smack the mummy for 3 damage.
I used a flurry of blows for that to do 2 more hits.
Sweet.
And then I want to do, what is this thing called? Stunning Strike.
Yep.
So the mummy has to make a Constitution throw. Save.
Alrighty. Does it have a force, or do you want me to do it?
I don't have a way to. I didn't program it.
He failed.
Okay, so he's stunned until the end of my next turn.
Alrighty, check that on. Nice. It's like the one condition he's not immune to. Digital Slayer, this is Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. Alright, so... Is that your turn, Milo? You finished?
Sure is.
Alrighty. Theron.
Okay, I moved there, but I'm still within range of the mummy, so it's not opportunity, correct?
Correct.
Okay, I'm going to go for the
mummy's
Water
stunned,
Weird.
so you could move
Yeah,
away.
he won't have an opportunity to attack anyway.
Oh, I thought you were stunning the Water Weird. Okay. Doesn't really make any difference. I will sneak attack the Water Weird with my rapier.
Alrighty. And you hit. For 13 damage. Nice. Fully goes through.
Alright, I'm away from my desk, but is can I move along the right side of the wall there, along the Water Weird, and get to the mummy?
Like along there?
I'm away from my desk, so I can...
Yes.
Just the way that so I don't get an opportunity to attack and can get in range of the mummy for melee.
No worries.
And then I will attack the mummy with Divine Strike. Oh, I get 2 attacks too, don't I?
Yes. You should have.
So yeah, with my long sword, I'll try and hit him twice then.
Alrighty.
And can I avoid his gaze pretty easily since he's stunned?
Well, I mean, he can't use his gaze while he's stunned.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, then I'll whack him twice.
Do you need me to do it, or are you at your desk now?
Yeah, I'm still away.
Okay.
So if I hit with both of them, I'll use two level spells to do extra 3d8.
So, longsword. First one hits. So, 1 level spell slot for smite?
2.
2.
So it'd be 3d8. I only haven't set it up for 2d8 right now. I think he's going to be vulnerable, so you might... I don't know how it's going to work for you.
It's right, it's 2d8, so it should be 3d8, because Divine Smite is 2 base. And then 1 extra for a second, so it should be 3d8 for each of those. So I'm just going to check it on
but
there.
I'm saying, like, I only have it set up for 2d8 right now.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So he'll take the extra one,
And
and
it
I'll just have
actually
to
matters
remove
because I'm
1d8.
assuming...
He's not
radiant.
vulnerable, he will just take an extra 1d8 because he's undead.
Okay.
So I'll just take off the middle one, which is a 4 from that. He's dead, exceeded by 3, so he's alive with 1 hit point.
And I'll whack him again.
And then you're whacking at him again, which hits as well. Do you want to use your spell slot for this one?
Well, I mean, is it obvious that he's going to go down?
Well, yeah. He's
okay,
critical.
yeah, then I'll avoid it.
Splat, he kill him.
Okay, and then I'll turn my attention to the water dick.
Alright.
And end my turn.
Cool bananas. So the water dick attempts to bring you down after smashing his master. He hits, dealing 15 damage, and wraps himself around you. So Dagrin, you are currently grappled and restrained. Tom Bardello's turn. It Wormy, this is the worst video game in the world.
What?
Wormy
Wormy?
said that?
Is it the same Wormy?
I don't know. It's probably Wormy bagging on
Well,
it.
who else goes by Wormy? What
Yep.
is she in chat right now?
Yeah, if it is Wormy. But This is in fact AAA title Dungeons and Dragons, and if you're not playing it, you're a total scrub.
Is this water weird? Is it wielding metal?
You asked that before.
I know.
No,
I just
no,
hoping
it's still
changed.
not
Well,
wielding wielding
I
metal.
am an inside of him, and I'm wearing split mail. So I mean, would that count for probably damaging me and not the thing?
Yeah, you can take the extra damage if you. In fact, let's do that.
Hey, wait a minute.
I'm going to cast Dissonant Whispers on.
Dishonest.
Yep.
Dishonest whispers.
Dishonest.
You
whispers.
look nice in that dress.
I bet you're holding steel.
Your butt doesn't look big in those shorts.
And it fails its save.
Yeah. Ah.
So, is it also restrained with me inside of it, or can it actually run?
It dies.
Oh, okay.
And
That
the
works
water
too.
splashes down on you, and you're completely free from its hold, leaving just the three of you standing over the mummy that has fallen back into its sarcophagus and become empty.
If it didn't die though, it would have been epic because it had to try and run far away as much as it could and would have provoked opportunity attacks from everywhere.
It would have dragged it in, I believe. Dragged him with
Would
it.
have what?
Would have dragged him with it.
Oh. But
Yeah.
everyone else would have got an opportunity attacks and felt good about themselves.
Yeah, they would have. Yeah, that would have happened.
Yeah.
So, Mummy, got any loot?
The mummy, as you begin poking around its bandages and the rotting, semi-kept alive flesh underneath, it groans and moves and twitches. Someone roll me a 1d10. Alrighty.
It's some crazy water mummy.
It is. Alright, so it moves and groans, but you find nothing of any value on it. And amongst the sarcophagus you find nothing as well. There's some little lumps that may have been things of value at some point, but have since become nothing. Other than the art that fell onto the sarcophagus outside, there's nothing here.
And you said it was pretty messed up. I mean, the painting was messed up, but what about the statue?
The statue looks alright. It looks like it's
a
been
big
speared.
Ass statue?
No, it's probably big enough to put on like a mantle, like it's maybe a foot tall.
There's a statue and a bust, or just the statue that is a
A
bust?
statue and two busts.
All right. Well, since the mummy's still like moving around and shit, I'll whack it again.
Alright, as you thwack it again, and it does groan and twitch. And no matter how much you seem to smash it or stab it or try and cut it up, it doesn't appear to stop.
We could sit around for an hour, let
Somebody
me
set
attune to
some
that
fire.
thing. And then I can talk to it.
With the head or whatever.
I believe Speak with Dead has to be someone that died only a moment ago. Only a little while ago, isn't it?
Something like that.
I don't know.
Might as well try it out.
Yeah.
You're probably already attuned since we had a long rest.
The corpse must still have a mouth and can't be undead. That's it. And the spell fails if the corpse is a target. Oh no, that's the target of the spell already. Okay, that's right. So it's just if it's undead.
Well, that's kind of boring.
Yeah. Yeah, a little bit. Wah, wah.
Well, it's not speak with undead. I mean, you know.
Digital Slayer, this is the Out of the Abyss campaign from Wizards, but I suck at campaigns, so I just make a lot of shit up. So if you played Out of the Abyss, this isn't what it would be like. Basically.
I guess I'll use Detect Magic to see if one of these busts or something, or the portrait is kind of acting as a crazy mummy phylactery.
Alright, so you detect magic, and the statue, rather than the busts, appears to be magically linked with this mummy. And in fact, when you handle it, it appears to respond, or the mummy appears to respond to movement and things that happen to the statue.
Things happen to the Oh, when things. Okay.
Yeah, like when you fondle the statue, the mummy gets fondled. Oh yeah.
I'll show the mummy where the bad Duergar touched me. And then I'll smash the... do we have like a pick or a hammer or something?
Jim Jar's got a pick, so you can do that. The night curse, it's actually not misspelt. It's called Oot of the Abyss. We're all Canadians.
Hello, A.
Right then. Alright, but yeah, I'll borrow his pick and start smashing up the...
And as you do, the mummy rears back, screams in pain, and then becomes dust and does nothing. Dies. Gives no further sign that it's still alive. And it too, the statue and it both turn to dust.
Woo!
You're doing terrible tonight, Dan.
Oh no, I can't speak, man. My brain is melting. It's like Thursday night. They wish they were Canadians. Yeah. Yeah, I wish I was.
Canadians. Canadians.
I wish I was from Canada. So bad. So bad.
I love Canada. What a great place, eh?
Sorry I booted. So the mummy dies. Yay, well done. Good work. And that's the top of our finish. Sorry to the people that just started watching. Laters. But we're done. Tune in tomorrow if you want to listen. You won't. That's alright.
Wait, they won't tune in or
they won't want to.
First one, then the other.
Yep.
What's close to Canada?
Snow.
America?
The North Pole.
Alaska?
Alaska's attached to
US.
it. Isn't Alaska like half of it?
Yeah.
Well, not
it's
half
in
of
the,
it,
like,
but
the west area, yeah.
it's the bit that on the risk board connects you to Asia.
Alberta?
Yeah.
Oh, no, yeah.
Alright, well. At least you guys are learning geography, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, at least let us finish this raid anyway, Dan.
It's finishing, mate. It's finishing.
I bet I'll lose.
For everyone that's watching, hit follow. We have another game running tomorrow. It's a different campaign to this one. But you can tune in where you can hear Wormy be terrible and us all make fun of her for it. And that's basically it.
Oh yeah, she's in the chat, so...
I hope. The mockery would be wasted
a
otherwise.
Some different Wormy that's going to be all sad and dejected now.
Yep. Wah,
If
wah.
you're not our Wormy, you're not terrible other Wormy.
I've been from Windsor to Toronto. I don't know where either of those places are. Toronto sounds like it might be Canada.
I think
They're both Canada.
it is wormy because she's saying the one tomorrow is better.
Yeah, I think so. These guys are clowns.
These guys are clowns.
I guess
Wait,
tomorrow you'll see Eleanor Callanown die in a fire horrendously, and we'll all laugh again.
set by a bard and a pirate.
Oh yeah, full payout. You got your 14 gold, mate.
Oh, fucking hell. You
I
just wanted to make me feel good.
I've got like 1,500 gold now. This is great.
You just rigged
I don't
you
control-
just rigged it all.
Excuse me, I don't control it. But Milo, thanks for coming along. Theron, thanks for coming along. I'll see you guys next week, same time, same place. Clinville, who's not here, thanks for coming along and leaving early. Couldn't have done it without you. And I'll see Pargon and Doomcow tomorrow. Eat my butt, nerds. Are those nerds that have come from your bum?
Buy me some boobs.
Ishin, no. So Fantasy Grounds, I'll have a quick show for you. You'll be able to see it on the screen. Fantasy Grounds, your DM is the only one that has to have everything. If you have the pack yourself, you can use that pack in any game. So if you join a game and you've got the player handbook, you can use that at any time. If you are the DM and you have the player handbook, any of your players can use it while they're connected to you. Otherwise, you can't share it with another player if the DM doesn't have it. That's the only limitation on it. You can add everything in yourself. For example, the player handbook comes with everything pre-done for you. Or you can do what I did here as well, which is this homebrew player handbook, which has every fucking thing in it. You can all add that in yourself and it works with the same functionality.
Bit of work though.
Yeah, so the only necessary cost for Fantasy Grounds is a license. There's the standard license and the ultimate license. Standard license can only host for other standard license holders. If you have an ultimate license, you can join. You can host free players, is what I have. So anyone can join my games without a license, so they don't have to pay anything. Other than that, every other cost is optional. I bought the modules because I am lazy, and having to do all of the modules on top of the homebrew shit that I want to do already would be too much. So for me, it's worth the value. I wouldn't recommend buying them all unless you have a lot of disposable income, because it's more expensive than the books themselves, and you don't have to have them. If you've got the book sitting next to you, you can do everything just as well. Hope that answers your questions. If you've got anything else, just flick me a message in chat. I'll be sticking around for 10 more minutes. Doom, have you finished your character creation stuff? Your leveling?
Yeah, I think I've got one more spell than I'm supposed to have.
How many should you have?
Just count. I should have.
You know, 4 first level from your choice.
And I have a feat that lets me have one more, so I think I've just got one too many.
Okay.
But because I keep looking at how many spells I can cast per day and thinking, oh, I'm allowed that many spells.
Yeah,
and
no.
getting confused. Yeah.
That's right.
So I'll just choose a spell and get rid of it or something.
You can just go to preparation and untick one of them. Like set how many spells you can have, add in all your spells. That way you can keep what you've got. Also, Wormy, when are you going to do your frickin' game? Jeez.
I just asked her. She said next week.
Oh, yeah. Maybe she didn't want you to tell me, so she didn't have to put up with me in the game.
Oh, well. If you're
I
not
want to get
the
rid of
DM,
charm
she
person.
can just keep killing your character over and over again.
Yeah, that's mean.
Oh, do I have to tick the ones I want to use?
Yes, so you edit your spells to be like, I can prepare 5. And then you tick 5, and then when you go back to combat, it'll show the 5 there, and if you're in standard, it'll have stars next to the ones you've got prepared. Digital Slayer, this party is... There you go, there's the party sheet. Ranger, Paladin, Monk, Warlock with a little bit of Rogue, and a Bard. We used to have Matthew Mercer's Blood Hunter / Witch Hunter, but he died because he was shit.
Guy was a dick.
he was a heaps douche, but he's now our Bard. And
Even more of a dick.
We had a Sorcerer as well that came along to a couple of our sessions and then had to leave unannouncedly, so I killed him off. So he's dead. So we don't have that anymore. Yeah, Critical Role is awesome. One of my favourite.
Wait, who did we have that you killed off?
The
Card?
Sorcerer?
Dude that choked on his own vomit, remember?
Yeah, back in prison. See, you care so little, you don't even remember.
Yeah, I totally forget.
Dropping shit
He
everywhere.
was here for the first few sessions.
Yeah,
Was he New Zealander or was he a U.S. guy?
he was...
He was like Malaysia or somewhere.
Yeah, he's from
that
Malaysia,
guy
living in New
who was
Zealand.
a dingus. Yeah.
I remember how awesomely descriptive he was. Like, whenever there was a battle and he was like, yeah, so man, run forward and my book comes flying out in front of me, touched by the chain, and burst open with the
Yeah, that
swirly-
guy. That guy.
Yeah.
But he died because he stopped coming and didn't tell us. Or was like, I may have bad internet, and then never ever showed up again.
So what did we decide
didn't-
we're all making for that game?
I was going to go with a ranger, I think, because you wanted to be a paladin or something.
No, it was gonna be rogue.
Rogue, that's right, and that's why I went ranger.
She said no clerics, I think, and
Yeah. Oh no, you could have a paladin, but it had to be stupid because Wormy has stupid rules, and you couldn't have clerics because Wormy has stupid rules.
wow.
Calling you out, Wormy.
Teacher cruel. Your rules are stupid.
When everyone hits level 6, Tom might actually go on his own way.
Why?
What?
Why?
Because I want to play Tate.
No,
Why not?
because no.
Tate Twisted.
Yep, Tate Twisted can be in a homebrew campaign. You can bring him into our Horde one at home, but not one of these two.
Why?
Because it's basically a playtest of that class, and I don't want to do that on these two campaigns.
But we playtested my Blood Hunter in here.
Yeah, and then he died. Before you even did anything.
Oh,
bring him into the Saturday game.
I did, and then we were like, actually, we have too many characters.
Yep.
And then everyone was like, oh, well, Joe's actually the only person who's been here from the start, so you have to play Joe.
You can bring him in
And I
later.
was saying,
Life's hard, huh?
it is.
Split the party. Yeah, I mean, if you want Tom to really go, then he can really go, but you can't have Tate.
He was here
Oh.
for like 3 sessions.
But I just want Tate. I like Tom, but I wanted to play Tate.
Oh, Wormy says you could be a cleric if you really want, as long as it's not the main god of the city.
Where are you reading this?
I'm talking to Wormy on Steam.
Ah, fuck's sake. Tell her to go back
fish.
into the chat that I'm actually reading. Shit. Didn't even want to be a stinking stupid cleric.
I don't want to be a cleric anyway.
War Domain. No. No, War Domain's silly. Well, I mean, it's not silly, it's fine, I don't play it.
What? Who are you talking to?
I'm in the chat. Well, I'm talking to the chat. The one where I kept expecting to see Wormy's replies, but it's not there.
Nope. It's because she only talks to cool people.
I kind of want to, like, go back to the not this theme. I'm just gonna get you guys to reconnect in a second, because I wanna go back to the other theme, because I think my eyes are hurting on the white theme.
Yeah, I don't like the big colors on my mom.
I'll put it back to the proper one. Theme. There's another raid, Adam. This feels like a bad one. I'm going to bet low for this. Is that all of your gold?
It's about time I win at science.
You won last game.
Yeah, and I lost like the 10 before that.
Ah, okay. Try reconnecting.
Who are you talking to?
You. Like to the game. And tell me what you reckon about that theme. Not 100% on it, but it's easier to see than the other one.
I'm gonna have a smoke anyway while I wait for it to load.
Digital, for my games, I allow rolling, and if you roll lower than 72 all up, you can re-roll once entirely, and that's that. Or instead of re-rolling, you can take standard array or point buy. Yeah, sorry, 27 point buy. Oh, that combat check is actually way easier to read. Man, 30 years, so you would have been playing like 2nd edition? AD&D or something? Jeez. You were playing AD&D when I wasn't even a twinkle in my dad's eye.
When you weren't even a wiggler in his ball sack.
Ah, that chat's terrible. Lucky, Ishin, you couldn't join. Oh dear. Hey, Pargon.
What's up, buddy?
What you doing? You gonna do Path of Exile or something?
No, man, it's like 4 in the morning. I'm just gonna stick around on Sundew Valley.
So no Pathfinder then?
No.
You make my life sad. Ugh.
Anything I could do to make you unhappy.
Are you asking,
My
or are
whole
you just
purpose.
telling me?
I'm just telling you, that's my purpose in life.
What is Stardew Valley? It looks like
It's
Starlight
Harvest
Crystal.
Moon, essentially, but
Okay.
it's pretty well made. I'm surprised how well made it is. Thought it'd be like some shit like what's the word? Nostalgia wank. But it's actually quite good.
Fair enough. I love how we've had more views for the half an hour we've not been playing. Like more viewers watching us not play for the last half hour than we did for the whole start of the session. Ah, good
Damn.
time. That's right. Stardew Valley. Did you play that? The fully side-scroller one came out the same time as Terraria, or like similar time as Terraria.
Starbound?
That's the one. What do you think of that?
Yep, it's made by the same people. It's fairly different though.
Yeah, I mean, it looks pretty top-downy rather than side-on.
Yeah.
Did you like Starbound at all?
I did, yeah. I just didn't really have anyone to play it with.
Ah, okay. Did you ever get into Terraria?
Yeah, I played the shit out of that with my friend Jim.
Yeah, Terraria is good. Far Cry Primal's good, by the way.
I don't know if I believe you.
Well, do you like any of the Far Cry games?
I haven't in a while.
What was the last one you played?
The one with the like Caucasian douche.
Oh, Far Cry 3?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's going to skew your view on it. If you played 4, then Primal's like 4, but fun. 3 was pretty fucking terrible, though.
But Dan, you say that with all games. You'd be like, "This is great." Then, like an hour later, you'd be like, "This is
User
terrible."
disconnected from your
You're
channel.
lying.
No.
Bye, Milo. I will have you
Did we
know.
all lose that raid?
Yeah, we got TPK'd.
Fuck's sakes.
Bro's playing new Borderlands and likes it. See, I don't know. Like, I was tempted to pick up the new Borderlands and give it a try, but
Wait, what?
the lack
Was that
of
the pre-sequel?
yeah, the pre-sequel, but the lack of any of the
Oh.
OPs or a third playthrough really wouldn't scratch the itch that 2 can
The
do.
lack of half a game.
Yeah, basically, like that's where half of my hours played are now in 2 is OPs or at least the third playthrough.
We didn't even play the third playthrough.
I have. Me and Leisha finished it.
No.
How romantic.
Yep, killing dudes together. Bet you're jealous.
A little bit.
Yeah.
I installed that shit to play with you, and we just.
And then
never
every
did.
time I was on, I was like, "Bro, come play," and you're like, "No, Path Exile. It's okay. Thanks, man."
Yeah,
Good
I'm kind of. I'm sorry, man. They got fixed that desync shit, and I'm all strung out on it again.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fine.
Are you gonna come play with us on Friday when the expansion comes out?
Depends what day Friday is for me.
The day after tomorrow's game.
Saturday.
What time? Because probably not.
I don't
I
know,
give you
like
permission if you want to.
I've got
the
Doom and
usual
Muriel
time we
coming
game.
down.
blow them off. They're shit.
They are shit. But I could probably try and get them into Path of Exile instead. What's the group limit? Is there a group limit?
I
I think it's 5 or 4, something like that.
Oh,
I
okay.
have Path of Exile on here. I'm pretty sure.
It's
I've
free.
done it.
Everyone has it, really.
Yeah. But I'll probably be playing Minecraft some of the time anyway. So if you wanted to jam that, you're more than welcome while I play Minecraft.
Possibly. I don't know. It'll be a toss-up between that and Primal, which came out for me today. I got a lot of games backlogged. It's ridiculous. And like the whole first half of this year is terrible because I'm supposed to be getting a bachelor's and I've just not been doing that. I'm gonna flick off Twitch now and go to bed. Thanks again to the people that are here. Bye bye.
Yeah, how did it get so popular when we started playing?
I was just saying that before. We had more viewers in the last half an hour since we've not been playing than we did throughout the night.
That's great.
We're more interesting not playing this game.
I think there's
we're
a lot
pretty
of
funny.
there's a lot of umming and ahhing while we're playing.
Well, like talking.
No, like umming and ahhing.
Yeah, like when we're talking.
Like when we're trying to decide what to do.
Yeah. Guys are shit.
We're all like,